Bed no more. Patient Zero, Chapter 6, The Party That Almost Killed Us. Life truly is funny. I mean, the world is going to hell, but I have the trust and confidence of these people. I have a beautiful woman I am about to ravage. My ma and my best friend are here, safe with me. All things considered, things aren't that bad. Diane and I had switched places on the bed, with me on my back, leaning up on my elbows, and her straddling me. Her shirt stood open, and the view of her cleavage was amazing. Her hair draped down over her left eye as she bit her lower lip. "Okay, now it's my turn," she said. Bam, bam, bam. Someone was pounding at my door. "Hey, yo Marv, we got big trouble out here," yelled T from the other side of the door. "Is it something you can handle?" I yelled back. "Naw, man, this a leader-level issue," he said. Diane rolled over onto her back and began to tie off her shirt again. The frustration was visible on her face. Now imagine how I felt. She sat up and began looking for her shorts. As she fastened them, I opened the door. "Hey man, Damn. I'm sorry bro, but this couldn't wait," said T as he peered over my shoulder. "We got a herd topside moving through the farm." "Do we have an approximate count?" I asked. I leaned down and gave Diane a kiss on the cheek. "We'll continue this later." "Hells yeah you will," exclaimed T. "Heavy is the head that wears the crown." "I get it now," she said. "Let me know if there is anything I can do to help." "As far as we can tell, it looks like a couple hundred. And Marv, some are in the barn over the hatch," explained T. "We can't get out. Get Leon, the Raiders, and Tim and meet me in the conference room," I belted. "Also make sure everyone who is battle-ready is armed, just in case." I made my way to the conference room and waited for the others. This isn't the way I wanted this to unfold, but desperate times and all. I pulled out the blueprints for the bunker. We had to act quickly, and we had to act smart. Unfortunately, we would have to reveal the location of the bunker to some of the residents. It couldn't be helped. The others arrived. As you all know by now, we have a serious situation above us. Now we could sit tight and hope to wait it out, I said. The problem with that is that this herd could attract more of them and become too massive to deal with. I think I may have a plan. When I was in the service, we would use decoys often to achieve our missions. "But we can't get out," said Tim. "We're trapped in a massive underground grave." Everyone looked at each other, and then we all looked at Tim, bewildered. "Oh, never mind me. I've been writing fan fiction for one of my former favorite television shows. It helps me focus on better times," he explained. "Anyway, we're not trapped. Now before I go any further, I have to swear all of you to secrecy with what I am about to share with you," I said. I checked the door to ensure that no one was around and closed and locked it. "I swear," they all said in unison. "Good. When I commissioned this place to be built, I figured there may come a time when we might have to escape rather quickly. And in situations like that, you usually don't want to use the front door." I unrolled the blueprints. There are exit hatches in Storage Room A and Storage Room D. A lets out past the South Water Tower and D near the windmill, I explained. "The problem is that the vehicles are in the barn." "So what are you proposing?" asked Leon. "We need volunteers to exit through the escape hatches and find some vehicles to try and lure the majority of them away," I said. "Hey, what about the Penguin's Cadillac?" asked Andre. "All we did was drain the fuel, so it should still run." "That's good, Andre," I said. "Can anyone else think of a location for vehicles?" "Fred may know the whereabouts of a vehicle or two," said Leon. "Look, we have to keep the circle on this as small as possible," I said. "I don't want anyone getting hurt." "Hey, we may know of a location for a couple of dirt bikes," said Robert. "Me and my twin should be able to get in and get 'em quick. They're only a few miles from here, and we've both rode motocross. Okay, the twins will hit the dirt bike place with Andre, I said. Gerald, you and Leon take Fred to get the Penguins' Cadillac. You, Tim, and I will prepare things here. Okay? Everyone knows what they're doing? Good. Let's get it done. We get the flame retardant suits, which are great for moving through a herd, but in a horde, you could be trampled. We made our way out to the windmill. The herd was numerous, but slow. We began blazing the herd. Even on fire, they kept trudging ahead. Their heads would explode from the heat. We were about an hour in using the flamethrowers to curb the herd when I heard the whine of dirt bikes. "Hey, you dead fuckers!" screamed Ricky as he jumped the fence over the herd. "Follow me if you can!" Next was Andre. You could tell he wasn't as confident a rider as Ricky and Robert were. When he landed, he lost control of the bike and plowed right into about 10 or 12 DCs. I rushed over to him as he went ass up over the handlebars of the bike. Kim, Gerald, I need you to back me up to get Andre out of the shit, I yelled over the comms in our suits. We made our way over to Andre, who was stabbing DCs in the head one by one. This kid is a survivor. We followed suit and used blades to eliminate the DCs one by one. Andre was leaning against the fence. "Andre, get your ass out of there," yelled T. That's when I noticed it. Andre's leg had a huge gash in it. Had he been bitten? We continued to work our way to him as we hacked and slashed anything between us and him. Ricky and Robert were leading the DCs away from the farm. Just then we saw the Cadillac. It was a bloody mess in a cloud of dust. They ran straight through the fence and almost clipped Andre. What the hell was happening? "They got Fred," yelled Leon as he jumped out of the car. "They bit him on his hand. I cut it off almost as quickly as it happened. They came out of the woods and were on top of us. As soon as Fred said he had the car running, one lumbered toward him and bit his hand. You gotta help him, Doc. You and Tim get Andre out of there. Anyone in the car that is able, help us clear these bastards out," I barked. "We have to work our way to the barn and then clear it out. Robert, Ricky, get your asses back here, ASAP. We have 2 injured, one of whom might turn. We pretty much thinned out the herd with the flamethrowers and mopped up nicely with the blades. There were only about 10 or so DCs in the barn, and they were dispatched easily enough. Andre, look at me. Were you bit?" I yelled. "No. No, sir. The bike fell on my leg," he replied. "Okay, have Diane look at Andre's leg. The rest of you get Fred to storage room C. We'll convert it into a triage. We have to cauterize Fred's stump," I yelled. Storage room C is where we kept the medical supplies. I gave Fred a shot of coagulant and heated up a flat iron with a blowtorch. I followed up the coagulant with a shot of morphine. Fred's breathing began to quickly ease. "Okay, you guys, hold him down," I yelled. I pressed the flat iron against his stump. Fred screamed loud enough to wake the dead. No pun intended. He collapsed in a puddle of sweat. "Leon, I want a guard on this storage room 24/7. No one goes in, and he sure as hell doesn't come out," I said. "I'll have Ma stay with his kids and prepare them just in case. I also want Andre brought to storage room D until I'm certain he wasn't bit." Diane had cleaned and dressed his wound. She assured me that it was congruent with metal tearing flesh. After a few days, I released Andre into Leon's custody. Diane was beginning to get moody as my responsibilities were keeping me from seeing her. We were gearing up for the election. It's funny because it seems that my inner circle was all elected. Leon, Gerald, Diane, Tim, and Andre were elected to representative posts. T and I rounded out the council. We met in the conference room. "We have 2 injured, and one that we thought might turn. Okay, the first order of business is that we need to rethink my rules, I said. They've been good to us so far. Why change them now? Asked Gerald. Because if we would have followed them to the letter, Fred would be dead right now, I snapped. Plus, last week we put down that penguin guy pretty easily too. Gerald looked at me really pensively. You could tell that something was weighing heavy on his mind. What is it, Gerald? I asked when I realized he was agonizing with his thoughts. Well, he began, when we went to get the Cadillac, we saw something. Well, what was it? I asked. Cyrus, he was a DC, he said in a low, defeated tone. We saw a DC in overalls that looked just like the ones he was wearing. The entire room was silent for a minute or two, but it seemed like an eternity. The guy was an asshole, but he didn't deserve that, said Andre. Fuck him. Fuck his shoes. Fuck his stupid haircut. Fuck his fucked up attitude. Fuck his great Aunt Rosalie, if he had one. Fuck his red tricycle he had as a kid, and fuck him turning into a DC, and fuck those overalls, yelled T. He made his choice. He didn't want to be here, and took his chances out there. I'm not about to feel bad for an asshole who would rather wander around out in that shit and be right than bite his fucking tongue, shut the fuck up, and be grateful for a hot meal, a hot shower, safety, and friends if he was capable of making any. Well, we can't have any more situations like last week, I said. We need to expand. We need a designated fallback area as well as safe houses to get to if things get desperate while we are out there. Would any of you ever consider leaving the group to start a sister community? Again, there was nothing but stunted silence. Look, I'm not looking to kick anyone out, but as we continue to grow, we'll have to consider expanding, because there are only so many that can live here, I said. While I like the idea of outposts with emergency rations, weapons, and ammo, I don't think anyone is ready to start over on their own, said Leon. But that's just it. You wouldn't be doing it on your own. We'd do it together, I said. We'd set up some type of communication network and truly begin to rebuild civilization. Well, Marvin, it looks like everyone is sold on the outpost idea, but we may need to stick a pin in the expansion plans for another community, said Diane. Maybe we can revisit it at a later council meeting. Now shall we vote on the outpost initiative? All those in favor say aye. Aye, 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 went the responses around the table. That's 6, said Diane. The motion is passed. Tim, will you and Leon pick a team and get to work on strategic positioning and locations? We might also want to consider some drop areas with specific markings that are recognizable only by us for in a pinch. Well, if there is nothing else, the meeting is adjourned.